getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate. The values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate, marching on these streets of blood.
Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
Kicking the water under the table. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing well, Tim. How are you? Thanks for asking, by the way.
Not bad. It's sunny out.
It's very nice.
It's always nice when it's sunny and warm. So I heard you were doing a lot of gardening over the weekend.
I did. I worked last night until it was dark. Nikki was yelling at me because I had like the hedgers, and then I tripped over a rock and she acted like I hit her with them and told me I was too careless with power tools. And I'm like, it's a battery powered 20 volt, whatever. But I was out there pretty late. You know, it was getting dark and there's rocks. I was on this slope wall. I think I had flip flops on at that point. That might have contributed to me slipping on the rock as well. But anyway,
good chance. Yeah. So of course, Saturday, we got the rain we needed. We definitely needed rain. I'd probably been a more beneficial rain if it had rained slower. But and I was actually surprised when we went down to the field yesterday. Like when they first put the field in, like that next week, it rained the whole week. I bet we got, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of rain, I would think, during the week. Like we got a lot of rain that week, and the field held up great, and it held up fine. But I went to yesterday before practice went down. I was like, went to rake it and stuff. I'm like, wow, like it's too wet. I mean, to actually smooth it out and stuff. I was surprised, but we definitely did need the rain. It's unfortunate because, you know, prom was on Saturday, and so we went and we were able to get the pictures on the common and stuff before it started to rain, and then it started to rain after that and rained pretty hard, but everybody looks amazing, and we went to Haverhill to pick up some BMW sports car thingy, but I didn't realize it was half hybrid because I never would have got it because, you know.
You're so progressive.
Yeah, no, you know how I feel about electric cars and stuff, and it was a cool car, but cool looking, but I don't know. It was my least favorite out of the three. So Adriana got a Maserati, which I think that was my favorite. That was a very pretty, fun to drive car. Last year, Alicia got that Porsche, which was a nice looking car and it was fun to drive, but it was not as nice as I think the Maserati. And then this car was just it looked nice. It was a cool looking car. Like
yeah, it looked like something out of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it looked some modern. It was cool looking. And it was sitting in it was neat.
It looked like one of them would be in Fast and the Furious, but eventually the American muscle car would destroy it.
Right.
But it looked cool when it first came out. You know, I mean, like when it first shows up on the screen, because I saw pictures of it.
The coolest thing is the doors open like this.
Yeah.
Like that was, but even for me, so my pregnant wife trying to get out of it was kind of funny because you literally slide down into the seat. I was having a hard time getting out. I'm like trying to climb out of it. And of course then, Danielle trying to get out of it in her prom dress, and then her friend Mallory went with her, and she was in the back seat, which I'm really not sure how she fit in the back seat because the seat it kind of felt like a seat like on an old like B-52 bomber, that wasn't really a seat, just kind of like here's
folded down.
It was one of those deals. So I had a back seat, but it wasn't something you want to be sitting in. And but anyways, they had fun and got the car here and back in one piece, and I didn't drive it that much. It was neat looking, but I was like, yeah, whatever. But that's done for now, and then I shouldn't have another prom until not next year, the year after. Of course, Sadie, who's Amelia's girlfriend, has a junior prom next year, but I'm like, yeah, that won't be my problem. That won't be my issue. Like he'll have to get a tux or something, but so we'll have one break. But all the kids look great. It's interesting because when we went to school, it was all limos. Like limos was this big thing. Limos. Now there's no limos, and there's just either people rent cars, like we did, or a buddy has a car, kind of thing, which is cool. I mean, it shows more individuality and stuff, but just no limos. It's just odd how it's kind of changed over the years.
Yeah.
How was your prom? Like, did you have limos or?
I don't know. We might have taken a limo.
Yeah, I think I went to my uncle's, like, Nova or whatever, and it was fun. That's when it was at the Opera House, and you'd walk up and then you'd go into the Opera House, whatever, which we still do the traditional drive up, take the pictures to the Opera House, and then they have it at the airport now, which the kids seem to love it. It's a lot more room, and it's cooler, because they opened the big hangar door and stuff. So yeah, sounds like everyone had a great time. Yeah, so that was pretty much. I moved a bunch of dirt over the weekend yesterday between stuff I had to do. Of course, where my garden's going is all dug up, and I'm trying to get the crappy, like, loamy. I guess I don't even really know what kind of soil it is. Just doesn't drain well. It's not worth anything. It's just a mess, basically. So I'm gonna put some stone in there and some sand, and then put my garden on that. And so in the end, I should have a nice lawn and stuff. But it sucks too, because it's $100 a load of stone with my 6-wheeler, and which actually made pretty good progress. I got a little over half done on the pipe coming across, and then after that heavy rain, I went and water was coming across. It was doing what it was supposed to. So I was like, all right, good. This went right. This is good. So that's all working out, because it's nice, when you do a job that actually works for you. But yeah, then yesterday, so I had practice. So I couldn't have practice Thursday or Friday because the girls had a band concert on Thursday and then the band trip on Friday. So I was like, man, we have a game today and tomorrow's our last game. And I was like, I really need to have practice. So I'm like, asked the girls, like, hey, can you do Sunday? And they said, yeah. And so I was like, okay, cool. So they came, and I had one of the girls come early so we could work on pitching. And so I had an incident yesterday that was kind of scary. So she, like, pitched and stuff, and then Aubrey, who's, like, my main pitcher, showed up a little bit early. I'm like, hey, why don't you warm up with Lydia, and then I'll take the other girl. I don't want to say her name, so I'll just take the other girl and do some tee work, whatever. So she comes over on the tee, and she's like, oh, my eyes are really bothering me. Like, can't really see. And I'm like, man, that's weird, like, I don't know what's going on. She just sat down for a few minutes and had a drink and stuff, and then so she, like, takes one swing and just kind of, like, barely hit the ball, and, like, falls into me. I'm like, whoa, like, what the heck? And then I can't even. It happened so quick. I'm not even sure what's going on. And then, like, she, like, turned and then, like, fell down into the net. I'm like, holy cow, like, what's going on? So she, like, passed out, and so one of my other players calls. I call her mom, so I'm not sure, and waited a minute, and she didn't, like, snap right out. It wasn't like I think I've had that happen before, like, just pass out for some random reason, and then you're like, whoa. So
usually I bet that's whenever you stand up rather quickly, or usually a change in something.
Yeah, which, like, for me, I'm on blood pressure medicine, so if I'm, like, bending down for a long time, I stand up. Oh yeah, I get that all the time. That, like, whoa, and you just stand for a minute because you think you're gonna pass out, and so I wait a minute. She didn't, like, quickly snap out of it. She's not, like, unconscious, like, unresponsive, but she's not with it at all. So I'm like, screw this. So I give me my phone. I call the ambulance. I'm like, can you send an ambulance here? Explain what's going on. And kudos to open ambulance there. They're, like, super fast. Did a great job. And I don't think she even knows. Her mom doesn't really. I don't know if it was a dehydration thing. Like, she feels like she was drinking enough and stuff, but it was a scary moment, and she's fine. And so that's the good news. But I've never had any of my practice or anything I've ever done. I've never had an issue. But a huge shout out to Newport Ambulance, because they were quick, got right there. They're able to do an EKG, like, right in the ambulance and stuff, which is great, because that's extra stuff that they can do. To make sure, obviously, she's young, she didn't have a heart attack or something. But I was just impressed, because I didn't know that they even did that, at this point. And so yeah, shout out to those guys for getting right there quickly. And yeah, luckily she was fine. And then she just as they were pulling in, she's like, "What happened?" Like, kind of snap right back out of it, and this is kind of weird because she's like, doesn't remember. Like, I don't really remember what happened. And I'm like, it's weird. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad everything is okay.
Yes.
So far.
No, absolutely. And the other thing, while we're on the ambulance conversation, so last week I had said that Newport didn't cover Goshen anymore. And like when one of the selectmen was telling me, like, oh, hey, if keeping the ambulances at the garage down, at the bus barn, whatever, it's like that was one of the arguments, like, hey, if there's a call to Goshen, they're going, whatever. So they do now cover Goshen again because they always did. And then they went with Golden Cross for a little bit, and it sounded like they didn't go for long because, all the way out of Claremont to get to Goshen. And so Newport does cover. So I just want to clarify that now that one of the ambulance people messaged me and say, oh, no, we do cover Goshen again. So just a
Correction.
yeah, absolutely. Just a correction that what I was told by the selectmen at the time. Like, I was like, well, that's not true. But no, it is. They went back to covering Goshen, and I didn't realize that. So I just wanted to correct that because we always want to be correct with stuff we say on the show.
Yeah, be accurate.
Yeah, best we can anyway. So, and yeah, we have a JV softball game today at 4:00 versus Kearsarge. Hard to believe 2 games left today, tomorrow, and that's the end of the season. The varsity girls are, I think, at Hinsdale today. They have a few away games this week, and then they'll be starting playoffs. I think they have a bye week, but yeah. So I'll obviously let people know when that comes up and stuff. So that way, hopefully get a lot of sport out there, especially for playoff games. So, yeah. So you got your potatoes planted. You say cabbage?
No, I'm going to do that today, hopefully. So I got all the potatoes. So it's like 3 rows. It kind of got messed up because I don't know if you saw, but there's some gigantic rocks I unearthed one more time when I used that Midbuster.
That last time through, and it's like, oh, look.
There's like 1,000 of like, especially after the rain, it washed all the dirt off of the rocks, and so it's just a glistening field of rocks. So
if you haven't learned yet, which I think you've discovered, but maybe unlike Texas or any other place you live, it seems like in New England, rocks, we grow rocks. Rocks just, like
the frost heaves, just push them out
just
every
push
year.
It out. Absolutely. And that's why we have all those stone walls, because even last year, like we picked so many rocks out of that thing. And then, yeah, as soon as I took the Midbuster through, I picked up a bunch because I went through with the Midbuster, then I drove around picking up all the big rocks, dumped them on my trail as like a new entrance to market, and then flattened it back out. I pushed the dirt because where the corn was, it had a very steep slope because you took that gigantic boulder out that your excavator should not have had any business moving. But anyway, I kind of worked the dirt into that area a little, so it still slopes, but it's not drastic. And so yeah, now I got a lot of rocks to pick, and some of them I'm just going to leave through the season. I'll just my rows, but so some of the rows, mind you, are a little crooked because I grab a rock and it would jerk the steering wheel, and I wasn't going to level it and then start back over because I got out and tried to pick up a couple of those rocks, like just push them into the blade or into the bucket. Yeah,
the bucket. It did not happen.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, my back, I was like, it'll be a nice fixture. Maybe I'll put something viney so you can actually see the rocks throughout the garden. But yeah, it was pretty hot. I got the plum trees in this weekend. I got the apple trees in.
I saw the apple trees was pulling up.
Yeah, so the plum trees are on your left as you're pulling up.
Oh, okay.
Further, like towards where the driveway enters the woods.
Okay, yeah.
So Nikki was like, we should line it right off the road. And I was like, I'll put them back a little bit because they'll probably have to dig this up at some point. And, cause the way it's sinking in some places.
Right.
So I didn't want it too close to the road. So yeah, I got that done. And there's 14 more 100-foot rows I got to fill in.
Hey, you're still way ahead of me. Mine looks like kind of a cello hole right now, but it's all good. So it's funny other things, like when I first got the property, I took the dirt where I was working and like moved it out back, which I have a huge spot out back now that I never had before. But then I was like, man, I should have done one last year when I put the house and stuff in. I was like, you know, this whole time I've been moving it all that way. And now suddenly I need to move forward with dirt. And then I have a bunch now I have to move and I'll dump out back. Some of it's just crap, but some of it was actually decent loam that I can screen. And so it'll work out well. Like that like wetter area that's been sitting there for a while, like that stuff is loamy and I can use it for the garden and for the lawn and stuff. But just a lot of work and still like I still have so much other stuff to do and I want to get a deck on the back
well, I took when I dug up the trees, so I had all that. It's not perfect grass like around the house, but it does have grass mixed in with it. So I went out on my trails going around out towards the pond where the sun hits them. So then I just dug up a little bit and tried to put it there, so maybe the grass will spread where the sun hits it. I don't know. So I wasted some time doing that, especially if it doesn't grow. But I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to actually have some grass out there instead of leaves and ferns and tiny trees everywhere.
I see a good sized tree in the pond too. Nick was showing me a picture. Should probably I wonder if we could hook it to your tractor and pull it like kind of out of the pond. Like
I just got to get a chain or something.
Yeah.
Might have to winch, hook it up to a tree like we did your car. Because I don't know if there's an angle. There might be.
That's true. Figure it out. Get that thing out of there.
But I walked around the pond. I grabbed chunks of that tree that were on the edges. Those are still pretty heavy, waterlogged. Did not feel good on my back. I'm surprised I'm even able to move.
No, Nikki said you've been doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I've been just moving. I had an easy winter, sleeping in until 7:30. Today I slept until 7:30.
Now it's go time.
Now it's go time.
Did you get the fence up yet?
No. I did all that work. I planted potatoes. I do need to get that fence in because
at this point you probably should get the stuff planted though. But
the puppy Bozeman likes to go down there, and so I was worried yesterday when he came down to visit me because he helped us dig up potatoes as a puppy, like as a young puppy last year. He just turned a year old, I think, on Friday.
That's crazy.
It was his birthday.
It's crazy. It's been a year already. Yeah. So if he's like my dog who just digs holes, you definitely want to make sure he's because you're gonna come home and he's out there and he's just ripping it up.
Yeah. Oh, I would not want to be Nikki as I give away her dog for free on the internet. If he did that.
So tonight is Car Nuts Cruise Night beyond the bank from 6 to 8. The Cruising Cow is going to be there, which I guess Nikki and Zeta went to yesterday.
Apparently it's the best ice cream ever.
Yeah, so they have maple and vanilla soft serve, but I believe they have hard serve ice cream too. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know. So what was she saying? Zeta doesn't really like maple, but she's like, "Oh, you have to try this." And apparently even Zeta thought it was good, so it's really good. So they're going to be there, and then there's like I think the thing I read said Todd with a food truck, somebody with a food truck. I think hot dogs and burgers or whatever. So check it out. They always have a lot of cars, and it's a good time. The weather's supposed to be nice. So 6 to 8 behind the bank, and you can't beat ice cream. And Nikki was raving about this yesterday. So
hey, that's Zeta's. When Nikki was pregnant with Zeta, the only thing she could handle. We lived in Columbia, South Carolina, and there was some restaurant, and your boy Trump went there a few months ago, and all Nikki ate was fried chicken and vanilla ice cream, and Zeta loves ice cream. So I don't know, who knows all those old wives' tales about women when they eat, when they're pregnant and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. 20 years later, 19 years later, and your boy Trump was eating there at the exact same restaurant that literally Nikki, that was the only food her stomach could handle, like at the end of her pregnancy.
that's pretty cool.
We went there daily for ice cream and for chicken, sometimes twice a day. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, Trump was there. I was like, oh, that's weird. Because I think there's only one in Columbia. There might be more now, but I just feel like I should give a shout out to the actual name of the restaurant.
All right, you look it up. All right, I want to talk about this. And so if you haven't seen this before, so if you grew up in Newport, New Hampshire, Facebook page, you should really check this out and like it. There's all kinds of old pictures on there of Newport. There's a
Zestos. Sorry.
Zestos.
Yep. Zestos was the name of the restaurant.
Zestos. That's an interesting name. That's cool.
Anyway, so if you're ever in Columbia, South Carolina,
Zestos.
and you want to celebrate Zeta, or you go eat where it looks like maybe Biden was there too at some point in his career, back when he looked like he used to look like. You know, when he still looked like Joe Biden.
When he looked like actual Joe Biden. Yeah. So check out this page if you grew up in Newport, New Hampshire. There's a lot of. So over the weekend, somebody, I think Gloria or something. I don't know. I think she puts a lot on the page. I don't know if she runs the page, what the deal is, but it was like the class of 57 or something like that from Toll, and there was like a few pictures of Toll, and then this picture I'm going to show up right now is, so this wasn't actually on that. I found it on something else, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I got to put this on the show today because so this is the old Newport house. So this was a hotel and there was a movie theater in there. And it burnt back in the 50s, I believe. So that big parking lot, like this is what used to be there. Which, how cool would that be if that was there? Like, that's pretty neat. So there's the church. And then I find it interesting, too. So we're looking at the common here, the little common. And I'm curious if this little tree here is the tree that's there now that's big, or if it's a different tree. I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of like it without the, big tree. It looks kind of nicer like that. But how cool is that, huh? Like I love these old pictures of, so this is the Newport house. So like diagonally across from the fire station and where like Get Her Cut is, this is where this big building was. And my grandfather said that night he like sat across the street and watched like obviously the event of this place burning, and like Newport's trucks couldn't like pump water up that high, and like Claremont came and stuff because this, I'm pretty sure he said it was like in the 50s sometime. I think it was in the 50s. Yeah, it has to be 50s because this looks like a 50s car here. So, but it's crazy to think that, that parking lot that's been there, and now it's been redone, but this big old building sat there for for many years. And, but yeah, so this is, and this would have came right out to like the road there. So it's pretty cool. I saw that and I was like, hey, I'll share that with our listeners and check out this page. Cause if, it's not like, not every day someone's putting stuff on here, but often there's all kinds of old pictures of Newport. And if, you like the kind of stuff like I do, check it out. It's a good page. You're trying to Google when it burnt.
Yeah, but it didn't recognize Newport House.
I should ask my grandfather.
Oh, it says Latches Theater in Newport, New Hampshire.
Yeah, there was a movie theater in it, and I remember my grandfather telling me though.
It looks like that is the house that you're talking about.
Yep, that's it.
But it doesn't have the date.
Sometime in the 50s. I have to ask my grandfather. He'll be able to tell me, but it's crazy to think that that big old building used to be there, though.
Yeah, well, I bet if I put it in the name of it, Latches Theater burned down. Anyway, keep talking, man. I'm just...
So tomorrow night, there's a master plan question and answer at 6:00 in the selectmen's room. So if you're interested, which of course I have a game tomorrow, then I'm going to class night. That's tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Wait, what is it?
The master plan question and answer. So everyone should have got surveys in the mail, I don't know, over the last month or whatever. And then if you send the survey in, like this part of it, like it's for the whole master plan that the town has. And
Does that take us in debt?
No, well, no, it's supposed to be just
that
like,
was a joke, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it's like which area of town do you think we should develop? Just different questions for residents. And
how about pave roads and put high-speed internet to every house? Like that should have been done by like 2010.
Yeah.
Or 2000 for like in the instance of roads.
Roads are bad.
I mean, they've only been building roads across the world since what, at least 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, and those Roman roads still holding up.
2,000-year-old roads that still look better than ours after 2 winters.
We have some bad roads still. Like, it's ridiculous. And then I, like, graded my road the other day, and, like, no offense to any of the town guys, and I can tell you right now, you can run a grader better than me because I've never even sat in a grader, and I know they're complicated to run, but, like, for instance, like, just on my road, I guess, I don't know, but, like, they didn't drop the blade enough, so you just kind of filled the potholes in. Like, remember we were talking to Bert one night, and he's like, Cody's the one that really knew how to run it, and then Cody's not there anymore, so no one knew how to run it. So I don't know who runs it now or whatever, but he's like, you got to drop the blade below, the hole so that you take them out and fill them in. And my uncle's like, they're over on Channels Mills, and that one was like super deep. They dug that, so I don't know. But my road didn't.
Well, they're just getting better at it at your
Maybe.
at your convenience.
Maybe, yeah. It almost made it rougher. I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I can run most things, but I've never run a grader, so I'm not going to say, I don't know. Never. There's all kinds of little buttons and things. I could rip the road up.
So you're saying you just have a recommendation to use it better on your road?
Get some more training, or I don't know. Keep in mind, like I just said, you can run the grader better than I can. Now, I guarantee I could rip the road up, but at the end of the day, you wouldn't have a road left. I'd be out there with my excavator, I have to move this thing back out with this because I can't do it with this grader. I'm telling you, sitting, like, I've never sat in them, but like Bert saying, there's all these buttons. It's like a fellow buncher, which is, they use them to take trees down, and then the turns the log sideways, they'll take the limbs and everything off it. And dude, that's like sitting in a fighter cockpit. Like, there's so many buttons and gadgets, and so yeah, some of those people, kudos to those people running those things. Same way as master plan, if you're interested in checking that out or having, it's question and answer. I don't know who's going to be there for question and answers, but supposedly we need to update our master plan because it's like 10 years out of date. So tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the Selectmen's room. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I don't know if it'll be on NCTV or not, but if it is, it's great. But if you're in the room, then you can ask questions. So yeah. All right, that's all my local stuff. But
I'm not going to commit to go. I'm going to try to go.
Yeah, you should try to go.
I'm going to try.
Did you say no to the class night thing or the top 10 thing?
No, that's weird because we were told when I got briefed that there are only 3 things they wanted us at, that we generally don't go to these things. And then Donna wrote me, and I'm like, I thought we weren't supposed to do this. Like, I didn't know. Oh, yeah. So I guess I can't go to this because I got to go to that.
So you did commit to it.
Well, I wrote Donna, and I was like, I thought we weren't going to do this, but if I'm being asked, then yes, I'll go. But I thought that I wasn't supposed to go to this. Like, so it kind of annoyed me in the sense of I'm told one thing, and then within 48 hours, I'm asked. And so it's like I've already made plans to do something else because I was told not to do this, that generally speaking, historically, we don't do that. So I don't like being told one thing and then something else happening, and it really agitates me.
I was just like being asked if I wanted to go.
I appreciate being asked, but I don't appreciate being asked after I was already told that the expectation is I don't go to that. That it's a family thing, it's intimate and everything else, which I can understand that. I appreciate that and respect that. But then to be asked again, it was like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, I'd be kind of a jerk to say no, right? You kind of put me in a position. And I don't mind, like, I don't want you to take my tone the wrong way. It's because of the flip-flopping. Like, I'm happy to go support these kids, but internally, I'd already made a decision that I wasn't doing that. And so I can't change that quickly whenever I've already, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't have to do that. That day is free for me to do something else. And so that's where I'm getting at. It's just it's an inconvenience of being, flip-flop on the...
Have you been working on your graduation speech?
It's like a minute and a half. It's not even a speech. It's as the kids are about to walk in. It's just welcoming everybody to the stadium. So
I don't know. Jenna's was longer than a minute and a half.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll figure it out.
This is why I'll never be chair of the school board, because I don't want to stand in front of all these people and do the commencement.
Well, you just gotta write it out, double space it.
It's all you. You'll make us proud.
I hope so. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. It just, when you asked me, that was what went through my head, and I wrote down that. I was like, well, I wasn't. When she said, "Are you going?"
Right, because there was 3 things that we should be at, which obviously graduation was one. I don't remember the other 2.
And I am very happy to go and support these kids. And if I would have been when I was briefed on this, because I'm giving a speech, so I got like a lay down of everything, right? So I went to this
graduation,
like a meeting where Miss Martin told us, like she gave, and so I don't know that there's good communication, and that's all internal stuff. But to me, it's being told, and my expectations are not managed properly. I don't handle change well once I commit to something. How about that?
You've shown
So this is all personal on me. It has nothing to do with anything else.
You've shown that today.
What do you mean?
If you flip a switch and something changes, Steve's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it's well. Hey, I'm not easily adaptable to. I can adapt to certain things, but not when it's like my own internal, personal. Like Tuesday night was free for me to go to this. But rest assured, we'll have some citizens go, I'm sure. Not we, but the town will have citizens go to.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully. I mean, nobody showed up for the social media, cell phone, chat GPT for the family.
Yeah, they don't listen to the voters anyway, so.
That's true. Hey, this is just a rubber stamp. Doesn't matter what we say.
Right. This is a formality. According to RSA, blah, blah, blah. We have to know.
Exactly. They're like holding up a recorder. All right, say what all you want. Okay, good luck with that. I'm just kidding. That's sarcasm for anybody that takes offense to that.
Yeah, so anyways, master plan, question answer tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Selectman's room. Yeah, that should have been what that was. I'm trying to think what else. Did you see, well, we'll do this real quick, and then we can talk about some national things just for a few minutes anyways. Climate vandals have blackened the water in Rome's Trevi Fountain.
I wonder what those people go through every morning. They must wake up like, I'm going to go run something awesomely historical to prove a point about nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You want to stop climate change? Stop the planes from dumping shit all across the skies. Because that's obvious. Because you can watch some planes and their trails disappear within seconds, and then you watch other ones and they're up there for not days, but like hours.
Yeah.
And then you can see them spreading apart into like lined clouds. That could just be a show, and it could just be something that's not harmful, and it's just to make people like me saying this look like an idiot, because there's research out there that says what I'm saying isn't true. However, you can also watch news clips where they dump silver iodide into clouds to help it rain more, snow more, all kinds of things. So
I saw a picture
at this point in time, like, whatever.
No, I saw a picture
It's
the other day
not
of a
good.
commercial jet that had the seats taken out, or most of them out, and it was tanks in the back of something. I don't know.
Like, how do those pilots, like, they either have to be lied to or they're evil. So they must either think they're doing something good, which maybe they are.
The climate's not changing fast enough for their little story, so they need to,
Dude,
alter it themselves.
I just all you gotta, oh man, I feel so bad for these climate activists. They're wasting so much energy on baloney when all you gotta do is go back and use logic and reason. They lie and they appeal to your emotion. They appeal to authority. They get some jackass scientist that is probably on the take to go in, because it's been proven quite a few times that scientists will say what you need them to say for the right amount of money. There's cases out there of that. So this isn't some conspiracy theory.
okay, let's think about it.
I'm just saying the odds are that it could happen.
If you're getting millions from this company, and then suddenly your research is going to show that everything that company stands for is wrong, you sure the hell aren't going to come out with that research and say, "Oh yeah, this is
You're
wrong."
going to cut off your own money supply?
Yeah, not going to happen. Like, yeah. And as you see more and more,
It's so hard. I don't understand how people can't rationalize that we all make mistakes and some people are corruptible.
yeah, a lot of them.
Like, it just takes the right amount of money, influence, blackmail.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of ways you can get people to do or say what you want.
yeah. There was just a leaked thing from the Pentagon that basically said that Fauci, they knew the whole time that
Oh, from the DARPA? I saw that. I read that.
whole garbage that he was trying to say, that
So
origin of
the Marine
COVID.
Corps sent to their commandant or something. Is that what you're talking about? There's a memo I read this weekend.
It was a Fauci one that.
But yeah, that's what it said. It was like they knew that we created it to help make better vaccines to prevent. I don't know. That's the most back-ass logic anyway. Let's weaponize this virus strain we find so that then we can create cures for it in case anybody ever weaponizes it. That's the most circular logic bullshit.
No, they're just making.
This world just cracks me up, man.
They're just making bioweapons. It's crazy.
Well, there are people who will yell at me and you and tell you and I that we're crazy for. I'm not saying it's even 100% true. I'm just saying it's possible. And in the realm of possibilities, then you start going into probabilities, and then you start thinking, yeah, this probably started off good, like for good. You know, somebody was probably trying to do something positive for humanity, and all it takes is somebody that's like, oh, and they don't even have to be evil. They could just have grandiose ideas that they're going to save the world or whatever. Next thing you know, they're the ones that end up hurting it the most. Or is that a movie plot, a movie trope that occurs quite frequently in movies? But anyway.
Seems to happen a lot. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. So then this whole whistleblower thing, so 3 whistleblowers come through from the FBI, and it's funny because Democrats are treating them like they're the bad people for blowing the whistle on what the FBI has been doing, and then the Durham report fully has come out, and the whole Russian collusion thing, which we've known anyways, but 100%.
Hillary Clinton and
100%.
FBI and intel agencies.
And Obama and Biden, like,
they all knew. They're all in on it.
Total coup against
sitting president.
And honestly, I don't think anything will happen. Like,
Oh, nothing was going to happen.
the amount of treason happening in our country right now is unbelievable. It's time to just completely defund the FBI 100% and just wipe
Start
it out.
over, yeah.
Start
Like,
all
we don't
over.
even need that. Like,
No.
here's
Put more
the-
money into your state police or your agencies, depending on what your state has or whatever. But
I was thinking about this weekend, and I took a lot of like military and politics classes, right? Because I was a poli-sci major, and I went to a military college. Anyway, so what you figure out is the Marines know how to play the politicians and get all kinds of money. Air Force too. Air Force puts everything into technology and equipment, and then as soon as they get the money from Congress, they put it all into their people. That's why a lot of people stay in the Air Force. Air Force has nicer housing, nicer bases. Everything about being in the Air Force is nicer than all the other services, because once they get that money, then they put it into places, human capital, where it kind of could be. The Army, on the other hand, is exactly as it played out when they told their soldiers to go get on food stamps. The Army gets abused, takes abuse. They think it's cool that they don't try to fight back or disagree with anything. So, I mean, that's like the general, I'm speaking in generalities. And oh, by the way, this is what I learned in the 90s. And then this is also what I witnessed. And it's also what we witnessed a year ago when inflation really hit, whenever we had that, the Army generals telling their soldiers to go get on food stamps instead of,
can you imagine?
like, halting research on some bullshit tank that we probably don't need, because at the end of the day, no one is going to invade our country because we have a well-armed citizenry.
Right.
And if they do, they'll try to come through what? The sea? We have a pretty awesome Navy. Like, my point is we don't need to be stationed all over the world to take other people's resources when we have enough resources at home.
Yeah.
Like study history and do a lot of downsizing and refocus the military on what they should be doing, which is defending our borders and
Maybe stopping all those illegals from coming across.
you would think that
Do you know what the impact's going to be? Like, no one's thinking about this. I mean, it's probably especially up here in New Hampshire because we're a long ways from the border,
we don't
right?
have our Section 8 housing put up yet for them to stay in. So
that's true. When that comes in there, then maybe. But almost 7 million just under Biden. You think about the ones that have come through with even under Trump and under Obama. Like, so in the last 6 years, you've probably had 10 million people come across that border. 10 million.
is that accurate?
Well, the 6 point, like,
I want to make sure we're not having some Mike Golick or
Go
Mike
ahead.
Greenberg hyperbole. A little callback from a
so
few shows back.
the 28 months or whatever that Biden's been in office, 29 months now, whatever, there's been almost 7 million have come across the border. So I was thinking during Trump's time, 4 years, I'm sure of 3 million have come across. So it has to be 10 million in the last 6 or 7 years.
I'm just trying to find one that's not probably biased. I'm sure they're all
I
biased.
mean, like when
I'm on
like
Google.
when Title
I'm just
42
using,
ended, all of a sudden it fixed their immigration. Wait, then why would the Republicans sue to keep it in place? Because that was to keep people from coming in. Now it's just a free for all. But our numbers have gone down 90%. 90%.
they try to make it look such bullshit.
It just.
This is a fake stat. Nope.
But can you just
They're trying to look at that. That's trying to.
Oh, showing it going down.
Yeah. So there's Trump leaves, and then they're saying that once Biden took over, even though he got rid of the policy, such bullshit.
This is what they do.
I'm just saying that doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe it is true, but like I said, no, I'm going through Bing. I'm not using Google, but Bing's just as corrupt.
I don't know if you want to call anyone down on the border of Texas, they can give you an idea of how many come across. And since Biden's taken office, it's gone through the roof. I believe it's almost 7 million.
Third highest in 97 years under Biden.
Third highest?
Mm-hmm.
So how could it be third highest? We've never had people like this come across. Did you find it yet?
1.66 million unlawful crossings nationwide over the past 12 months is the third highest. So that's in 1 year. So that was published October of 2021. There's another year of that. I just don't think it's 7 million. That's all. It might be. How about we just say millions for accuracy's sake?
So this is Google, okay? So some 2.7 million migrants, those who illegally entered or were otherwise inadmissible port entry were encountered at the border.
I mean, we really shouldn't
This
call
year.
them migrants, by the way. They're aliens. They're not allowed. They're not authorized here. They're not seeking asylum. When I say that, I'm talking 19 to 39, 49-year-old males. Stay in your own country. Defend yourself and your families. We're all going to have to, maybe someday. Right? You all have to. That's what's most important is your...
So, Steve, I'm telling you, I'm right. So this is October 25th of 2022. A whopping 5.5 million were under Biden. And so since then, I don't have even the number.
All right, so over 5.5 million under Biden.
Yeah. But that was as of October. So, yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. These are just all elite, like, just flooding into the country. They take their name, maybe, or whatever, if it's real, and then just let them go.
Give them phones. Give them a place to stay sometimes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, you Army guys need to go get on food stamps because, you're serving your country, but we have to pay for illegals and
we got all kind of, well, DARPA's funded by the military, so we got to go do all kinds of research. Yeah. Here's what I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the government has not always been our friends. And when I say our, I mean all of us.
Right. Like when
They run secret, all kinds of things that that comes out 20, 30 years later where they didn't tell. They like poison people in subways to see how they would react, see how it would spread. It's all allegedly true, but you can find in,
like when the CIA killed JFK.
or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Create a crisis so that they can give you the solution for it. And oh, by the way, it takes away all your freedoms. Because why do you need all these freedoms? Here's an idea. This is the United States of America. If you go back and study our history, the government is garbage and it's not supposed to have authority and power. I won't say every, almost all of the founding fathers that we consider founding fathers warned against the tyranny of government. A few of them felt like only special elites could lead the government, but here's an idea. They're not leaders, not leading anything. I wouldn't follow those clowns on either party or even independents anywhere. You got to earn the right to be a leader. Just because you're elected doesn't make you a leader.
No, that just means you won the popularity contest.
Yeah, it means you won, and now you got to go and you do what you're told because you're supposed to be our. That's who politicians are. That's why I'm like, come to the school board and tell us what you want because we work for you.
Right.
I have all kinds of ideas what I think is great, but if you don't come tell me yours, how are you going to influence me once you elect me?
Yeah.
Because apparently that's how it works. Apparently you don't have to listen to people that show up to meetings because that would be tyranny to listen to your constituents. Do what you think is right, which all right, it's a different way, but my personal belief is I should at least engage and think about what they're saying and give it a listen to and a thought before totally ignoring it and being like, yeah, we're doing it this way anyway. You can do it that way, but wouldn't you want to give somebody a reason for not listening to what they just came and pled to you? They just came and showed up. I mean, sometimes it's hard, like if there's a personal thing because you can't necessarily talk certain things. So I get that. But like in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
you do what you're told. You don't do. Yeah, we do what we're told if we're elected, and someone who elects us comes in and tells us something. If they may not know what they're talking about. They may not know the laws or right, whatever. But that's our job to either know that or find it out and get back to them and say, hey, I know you expect us to do this. However, this is illegal, and this is why it can't be done.
Right.
Or there was a vote 18 years ago. Even though I agree with what you're saying, we can't just undo that vote. We'd have to put it up for a new vote.
Right.
There's all kinds of different things. To sit there and act like you can't listen to 20 people that show up to your meeting because that would be mob rule, then what do you expect? It is mob rule. Democracy is mob rule.
Right.
You don't want democracy, then don't act like this is a democracy.
Right. It's constitutional republic, but no one knows
The country is.
Yeah.
Now, is the town a constitutional republic or is it a democracy?
Still runs off of like the New Hampshire Constitution, the rules of that, but those laws are put in place by the people. But
Well, the politicians don't listen. Is the whole point. Like,
yeah,
no one listens from the town all the way up. You could go and look at the polls, and like tyranny of the majority is prevented with the Electoral College.
right,
It's not prevented by. Now, you can have people disagree and not go with the majority because you want to have public debate. I'm not saying immediately go along with what 100 people show up because,
right,
it's like 12 angry jurors, right? It takes one person to stand up and have the conversation. And
right.
so I'm not just saying, I'm not advocating brute democracy. I'm just saying, you should give it some consideration. We're not smarter than the person to our left or right. There's always somebody smarter than you. There's always somebody faster than you, somebody bigger than you, quicker than you, funnier than you, better looking than you. But society hasn't figured that out yet. That like you're not the best at everything. You struggle. We all struggle. You might be great at this, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be great at that. If I'm great at this, doesn't mean you're going to be great at it because you didn't put in the time and effort. But people today think like, oh, well, you do that, so I can do that because I exist. Therefore, I am. Therefore, I can.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I didn't want to talk. It's Monday morning.
Well,
I'm not a morning person, Tim.
I have one last thing to say here, and then we can wrap it up. So this is Google, by the way. So if anything, it would be underestimated numbers for anything, right? I think
Probably. That would be my instinct.
Our biased opinion would be, yeah. So the Census Bureau expects the number of immigrants living in America to continue increasing over the coming decades, reaching about 54 million by 2030, which is 7 years from now, and 65 million by 2050. So what's going to change between 2030 and 2050 that we're only going to have, 9 million over 20 years, but between now and 7 years from now, we're going to have 54 million?
Well, because they have calculated that's probably the number needed to influence elections the way that they want them influenced.
Yeah.
They can manufacture the votes to match with that.
Makes sense. I don't know.
If I were a guessing man, I'm just guessing. It's just
I don't know how you're going to put these
a theory, a
54 million
hypothesis.
people, but
It's a hypothesis.
good times. Country's being invaded. Government is working against you, which, I mean, hello, it's not a surprise to anybody, but.
I mean, where are all the apologies for every news? Like, they should all retract and have, like, a I'm sorry moment. Like,
Dude, someone got a Pulitzer Prize, whatever, a Pulitzer Prize or whatever for the covering the story with the Russia thing, wasn't it? The complete fabricated story, like completely 100% fabricated, complete lie. No one's in jail. Epstein's list. Hello.
there was some. They're slowly starting to let some stuff out.
A lot of J.P. Morgan stuff's coming out.
J.P. Morgan, the Bill Gates being allegedly blackmailed by Epstein about an affair he had after Epstein allegedly trained this model in computer programming to, like, almost as a honeypot, which that's always been, well, for people who can expand their thoughts and believe that there are bad people in this world. It's been pretty much the assumption is he blackmailed people so that, for whichever country, I guess it's still up for debate, but you can look into Ghislaine and find out her family history and kind of assume which intel agency they were working with. Clue, it's not all ours.
No.
So anyway, he was allegedly being blackmailed by Epstein to give money so that he wouldn't tell his wife about an affair that he had, allegedly. So, you know what I'm saying? So they're like slowly releasing it for people who can't wrap their mind around that what the news has been telling them for however many years has been fake.
But honestly, I feel like the list could come out today, and then not a damn thing's going to happen.
Well, see, that's the other thing. It's like they slow it so down so much. It'd be me and you like, what the hell? And people are like, oh, we can forgive them. No, we can't, man. They freaking allegedly underage girls. They were convicted of it. So the allegedly, I guess, is gone for those two. Yeah. Now, their client list, maybe they were over 18, some of them, and they were just using them to blackmail because an affair is an affair. But I don't know. I've seen Virginia Guffrey, is it? Whatever. I watched her interview.
It's just insane. Like, and then they talked about like the FBI and making some more policies and stuff. And they're like, really? Because these FISA warrants are like, it takes like 2 weeks to throw one together. It's so much information. So basically, it's like trying a case to that judge. He wants everything, like every drop of information. And this former FBI agent is like, it literally takes like 2 weeks to fill out one of these full ones. And he's like, they're just.
Like Tim Beard said something on his show, get a FISA warrant against you. Like, he's got a suspect YouTube show where they just ramble about bullshit all day.
So FISA warrants, basically, there's no due process. It's just secret judge comes and says, yeah, okay.
It sounds very much similar to what we were warned against with other countries when I was a child.
Doesn't seem legal. Probably came under, Patriot Act or something, right?
I just find it's so hard to me that people have shifted to such a lazy degree that they just let shit go like this and hand wave things away that before would not be acceptable. Like ignoring a vote, whether it's locally all the way up to, you know, Detroit, where there's video of boxes and boxes of ballots being delivered after the vote was cut off. And then a couple hours later, magically, Biden's winning, like by statistically speaking, according to the things that I've read. It could be influencing me. I'm open to anything. That's the difference between me and other people, too. You give me some evidence, I'll consider it.
But if you looked at what's happened and the things we've said, and then you watch it now, it's all come true. It just takes time.
I know. I hope nothing bad happens to those people more than it already has in East Palestine with that chemical.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's no big deal. No big deal. Not a big deal.
It's a big deal if the government comes in and says, oh, your city's polluted. Now you're going to move into this 15-minute smart city.
I tell you what, though, you walk out today and dump a gallon of oil in your pond out there and you'll be in prison.
EPA satellites down on Lovering Pond wanting to know what's...
Yep. You'll be in prison, but 250,000 gallons of vinyl chloride just burning up into the air.
That's the other thing, too, is like government always gets a pass. All these people that do things wrong get a pass.
Because there's an accident.
It was an accident. They didn't mean to. You broke the law. You're treasonous. You need to go to jail. Or at least you need to be tried for this and find out, was it really an accident?
Is Gitmo still open?
Yeah.
They probably should expand that.
I think they did.
They should, because there's a lot of people in this country who should be going there for treason.
Because I think Obama promised to shut it down. He didn't. And I think Trump said that he was going to expand it, and I think he might have.
They should put a gallows right out front. There should be a steady line of treason.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can commit treason. I guess they think they're doing the right thing internally, but good luck with that. You got to convince a lot more than your in-group, right? You and I can convince each other all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But can we convince the crazy lefty, liberal, progressive? Probably not, right? So you got to be careful. Like, you got to use your influence and make sure you're doing the right thing, because you listen to the wrong crowd. Next thing you know, you're being tried for treason. And you thought you were doing the right thing, and because you were lied to, or you didn't read the laws and regulations, which we're all guilty of.
It'll never happen.
Like, you and I can't possibly know every single thing in the New Hampshire Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, which I've read many times, you know, sections of it with that training I mentioned in the Army, and on top of my degree that I worked on in college. And I still have I probably violate something. You know, walking out to my car here, or walking over to my other house, there's probably something. So you can get somebody for just about anything this day and age. But
yeah, but you got to
try to do the right thing.
You can sell out your country. You can, you know, be a said family in a position of power that takes millions from China, and nothing happens to you. It's so weird.
I think man, something's got to happen.
It better.
Like the country will totally fall apart if no one's held to account to anything that's proven as true. And I've been on Marco Polo, and I've read through. You can go search different terms and find anything on that laptop that may include whatever word you want to look up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. The guy has been challenged, I think, a few times, and I think he's getting deposed. The guy, Ziegler, whoever started Marco Polo, used to work for Trump. It's from Indiana. Anyway, but you can go out there. Marco Polo, was it Biden digital laptop? I mean, there's all kinds of different ways you can go out there and find it and look and see if that's how you want people representing you. Because making bad jokes and everything else is one thing, but
that's straight out selling their country.
Selling your country out's another.
And how about
you know what I'm saying? Like people could have issue because we say something stupid, but our actions aren't treasonous.
How about Ashley Biden's journal or diary?
Yeah. Could you imagine if it was Ivanka Trump?
Oh yeah, done instantly. No, it's okay.
And I don't even like Ivanka Trump. The whole thing is there's a double standard and it's bullshit. That's the issue. The issue is
Huge double
that
standard.
there's a double standard. So that means there's not the same sense of justice for different groups of people. And that's where my issue is. It has nothing to do with Republican, Democrat, anything else. It has to do with just two different systems of justice.
You know, when you have the media that covers everything for you.
And see, in this case, it's tied to the Democrats, so it does kind of apply because the mainstream media was in on this hoax. Because Trump tried to tell everybody, if they would have listened, that it was all made up. And I'm pretty sure he probably could have provided proof or at least to question the narrative. Anybody question it? And if you did question it, you were probably shot down pretty quick. Because that's how they do. They bully you in the peer group of all other journalists agree with this. So you don't want to step out of that. You don't want to say something like, I kind of agree with whomever is not in the know with whatever journalist society you're hanging out with, because they all feed themselves. It's like if you and I only talk to each other, we just feed ourselves into a circle of anger probably, but we know deep down that there are a lot of people out there that see all kinds of different bullshit than we see.
Yeah.
And so there's just bullshit everywhere.
It's crazy.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
I feel like I might be using circular logic, but
So at the end of the day, our borders are being invaded. Our politicians and FBI and DOJ and all these people are not being held to account for the crimes they've committed.
and the intelligence community.
Yes, which is straight up treason. There's no other word. Like, treason is the word. It's not, I broke a law. No, treason.
Yeah, you subverted the sitting president for your own good.
Yes.
Well, did they do it for another country?
I don't care.
Under the case of Biden, I would make the argument you could say that there's a lot of payments from China
Yeah.
and Ukraine, because you can go back and watch his threat to withhold funds if they don't do what he wants them to do when he was vice president. I think the action was when he was vice president, but the speech is afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's unbelievable. But anyways, on a positive note, get out today, enjoy the weather.
Car nuts.
Car Nuts tonight, 6 to 8. Check it out. It's always fun. Cruising Cow will be there. Everyone loves ice cream, so I have my game at 4. And then
Any of our sponsors going to be there?
I don't know, but yeah, Twin State Paving. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And if you're going to get your driveway paved, reach out now so you can get on the schedule. It gets super busy. Teresa at Sunshine Realty, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. If you're going to buy or sell a house anytime soon, have any questions, reach out to her. And Beard, Sewer, and Drain. If any drain issues, sewer issues, reach out to them, and we take care of that for you. Yeah, on that note, have fun in the garden today, Steve.
I will. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you next time on Tim and Steve Show.
Of the fabric that they fabricate, they feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you.